Initiating moisture protocol.
For thousands of years, many men and women have gone searching for the ancient treasure, the treasure of pure moisture. Still haven't found it, but we're looking in movies and video games. Mainly movies, because a lot of the video games coming out I'm just not super interested in. But I did see the new Tomb Raider. So how wet is it, you're asking? Well, it's a little damp, actually. It's not bad. As far as video game movies go, this is probably one of the better ones I've ever seen. It's very competently made. It's nothing spectacular now, don't get me wrong. It has plenty of flaws. It's nothing where you'll be sitting in your seat and just fire back because it's caught you by surprise at how good it is. You're not going to lean over and tap a stranger's shoulder and offer to give him a hand job because you're so excited by how great it is. But it's a good enough movie where you'll sit there and be entertained for the roughly 2 hours it's on. I will say the main character, the main lead actress, Alicia Vikander, is perhaps the best fit for Lara Croft possible. And the game really emulates the video game. The movie really emulates the video game character's movements to a T. Now, this movie is based pretty closely to the 2013 Tomb Raider reboot game that came out, and it's a really faithful adaptation. A lot of the same visual elements translated, even has the old rusty plane. Even some of the injuries Laura gets in this movie happened in that game. So if you like the game, you'll most likely like to see this movie. Well, you'll like the movie if you see it, not likely to, you understand what the fuck I'm saying. You don't come into my dojo and say, hey, you fucked it up. But I did, and I can admit that, and I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm saying you'll probably like the movie if you like the game. That's the point I'm trying to get across there. Another really good positive thing I can say about this movie is the director. He has a great name. I think it's pronounced Uthaug. He sounds like an orc you'd encounter in Middle-earth. It's a great fucking name. Keep up the great work, Uthaug. Now, the story's simple enough. Lara Croft's father has been missing for a long time. She doesn't want to accept she's dead, so when she finally gets a hint that he might still be alive, she goes off on her very first adventure to try and find him. He's been diving into the supernatural shit. He's been watching a lot of Sci-Fi Channel, and he wants to try and find the Queen of Death, Himiko. Very similar to Rugrats, Kimiko. I'm guessing that's not a coincidence at all. Roar Uthaug would not dabble in coincidences. Everything is cold and calculated. A very nice shout out to Rugrats with the naming there. Now let's go into some of the flaws here. A lot of the stuff in this movie is just kind of nonsensical. There's a lot of decisions that get made that don't really add up, at least in my opinion. And there's a lot of scenes that I don't feel serve a purpose, especially the intro scene. I just thought it was really fucking goofy. It was a bike chase with paint pouring out, and it was like a game of tag on bikes. And it was stupid to look at. It looked like something I'd see in Max Keeble's Big Move or some other Nickelodeon movie. It served no purpose other than to establish, hey, look, this is a girl doing masculine, testosterone-driven things like riding a bike with paint pouring out. What the fuck? Did you know a girl could do that? God damn. It's just goofy, and there's a couple more scenes like that, but that's the biggest one that stood out to me. But overall, the movie, like I said, is competent. It's got flaws, but it's still a fun adventure movie. There's not a lot of adventure movies that get made that are in the style like this one, which is kind of like Indiana Jones in a way. And to me, those are kind of my favorite movies. Like, as you know, The Mummy is my favorite movie. It's followed closely by my second favorite movie, The Mummy Returns, because it's an adventure movie through and through. It doesn't really try and reinvent the wheel. It doesn't try and push boundaries or anything. It just plays by the numbers, but it's a fun adventure movie. And that's kind of what this is. I wouldn't even compare this to The Mummy or The Mummy Returns because those are untouchable movies, modern works of art, masterpieces, magnum opuses. But this movie is still a good adventure movie, and a lot of them don't get made. So when I see one, I get pretty excited. And I was excited to see this one. It was surprising because didn't expect to like it that much because video game movies typically eat rectum real hard. But this is pretty fucking good for a video game adaptation. The acting on some of the characters isn't very good, so you'll have to excuse some of that. And like I said, there's some goofball scenes, but other than that, visually appealing, story's simple to follow. That's not convoluted, and it's not too bad. There's really not much else to say, so I'm just going to plug this shit into the moist meter now. I'm giving it a 60%. Like I said, just a very slightly above average movie. It's perfectly passable, and it's enjoyable. It's really fun if you like adventure movies, which I do. And if you like the game, if you like the reboot games, you'll 100% like this, I think. I really feel like it did a great job of being a faithful video game adaptation, as well as just being a pretty decent standalone movie that even people that aren't familiar with the games will probably like to some extent. And yeah, I mean, that's about it. So yeah.